You know, I wonder who was the first person to be like, you know what? I got an idea where we could save a bunch of money and keep people coming back for more bullshit repairs. Let's put a plastic oil pan and a plastic drain plug. Look at that.
Viral video going around showing that a 2025 Ram 1500 uses plastic control arms.
New Dodge Ram upper control arm. Shameful. Plastic. I mean, it's plastic.
New cars today are made horrible and designed to fail. I know that might sound dramatic, but hear me out. Car companies are no longer building cars to last 20 years anymore. They're building them to survive just long enough to get through the warranty period, and then it's your problem, and a very expensive one at that. And that should make you furious. We're talking about plastic components where metal used to be, electronics that cost thousands upon thousands of dollars to replace when they fail, and even simple maintenance like oil changes and brakes are now being locked behind dealership level software. This isn't an accident. It's literally all been planned out, built into the design, and it's called planned obsolescence. Just take a second to think about this. The less time your car lasts, the sooner you're forced back onto the lot to buy another one, or in need of very expensive repair work, which they will then try to yet again push you into another new car. It's like a revolving door that constantly drains your finances and never lets you get ahead. And this year, it's worse than ever before. Cars aren't being made to last. They're being made to fail. So in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how automakers are pulling this off, the hidden shortcuts they don't want you to see, and the red flags you need to watch out for before you even think about signing for a brand new car. So let me know down below about the problems you've had with your new car or new to you car. The juicier the story, the better. Otherwise, let's get right into today's episode.
So this is the design change that Nissan came up with for the 3-cylinder with the plastic pan. Instead of having the metal insert and the metal drain plug, they swapped it to a plastic drain plug, so now we're cool like Ford with their yellow ones. But they have these little ears that stick off, and they have these tabs on the pan that keep it from getting over tightened. There's also an O-ring on this. On the inside, it's one-time use now, so if you're doing an oil change, you're supposed to replace it. I'm not saying that it will never hold oil again once you're taking it loose, but that's what Nissan recommends, to replace that. Here's a perfect example of why we don't like this plastic pan with metal insert. It's only got 10,000 miles on this, and the oil change has only been done here at the Nissan dealer, but it is spinning.
Excellent. Oh my
the
god.
Whole thing out. All my guys know how to torque this properly, but
We're going backwards. We're going backwards, guys.
actually this is not
I was just about to say, you're going to have to remove probably the whole oil pan now to replace that thing that failed, or just replace the entire oil pan, and here we are. The whole thing is now off. Now the whole thing needs to get replaced.
the reason that these pans fail. The insert usually comes out with the drain plug, but this one's just spinning. So I got a little impact right here. We're going to start seeing if this will come out. Stay right there. Stay.
Where was the logic in this?
Go the other way. Nice. The new replacement pan came with the new style, so we don't have to deal with that next time.
Oh my gosh. I have so much to say about this. For starters, the fact that this is new to Nissan, Volkswagen, Audi, and BMW have been doing this design for years. I think since like 2016, they have been doing the plastic oil pans, and then they like to disguise it and say, oh, it's for weight reduction. Oh, it's for weight savings. Guys, can't you figure out weight savings in other ways, like getting rid of the nuisance junk stuff like ambient lighting, the 19 different ways of power massaging seats? Like, there's so many other things we can reduce the weight from than the necessary vital parts of the car, like the oil pan. Why are we putting a plastic one on there? They're notorious for getting warped and causing oil leaks, because you're putting a plastic pan on a hot engine block and then circulating 200, 220 degree Fahrenheit oil through it. It's only going to last a couple of years and then fail, like on Volkswagen and Audi, 40 years. So the fact that we're seeing Nissan adopt this, if they have the audacity to say this is for weight savings, we don't need weight reduction on a Nissan Versa, guys. A Nissan Sentra does not need weight savings and reduction. Sorry, this is cutting corners and doing it cheaper. And not to mention, it feels like we're going backwards here. I was going to say these manufacturers are trying to cut corners, but then it fails on them. And then they have to spend extra money redesigning it and putting another one on. So, I mean, it's like Mechanics 101 to not put a metal insert into plastic and then put a metal bolt into it. I've known that for years. On many, power washers, any of my detailers out there, you would know that if you have a metal top on a foam cannon and screw it onto the plastic base, you almost always strip it out because of just the force needed. Too much force strips out the plastic. It's just a harder material. So why would you just put a metal insert in a plastic pan? You know it's going to strip out at some point or another. 10,000 miles, not even a year into it, the thing strips out. And you would think maybe make them like wider or something, the metal pieces, so it really grabs into the plastic. Nope, it just pushes right in. It's so stupid to me. And now they have to spend extra money. And how did they resolve it? Oh, well, now it's a plastic oil plug instead of the metal one that they had. Nissan was like, oh, we'll be a little nice. Nope. Now they've completely made the entire thing plastic, and it's just a plastic gasket. Plops right on. Who knows? Putting a lot of faith into a 15-degree turn. That's the difference between your engine blowing up from loss of oil pressure. Anyway, I wanted to read a couple of comments that you guys had left on previous New Cars Are Horrible episodes. If you guys haven't checked those out, highly recommend you do. And if you want to get featured in the next episode, definitely make sure to drop a comment down below. Honestly, in my opinion, most vehicles built after around 2005 are a part of planned obsolescence, and they aren't built to last, even with paying immaculate attention to maintenance. And I totally agree. There are just corners that have been cut and things that have been swapped to plastic that are just meant to fail after a couple of years. And these engineers and these manufacturers know that, no matter how well you take care of it. At this point, you probably have to spray some sort of or massage some sort of lubricant on all your plastic pipings so that they don't get brittle. The problem is when you rush hot coolant through it and heat cycle it all the time, it's going to get brittle regardless. It's just going to crack on the inside. There's no way around it. And I know there's certain things in coolants now that are going to help maintain that. But again, it's just unavoidable at this point here. And who knows what that date is? It's 2005. That seems to be about right. I mean, I have a 2010 Mazda 3. We're approaching 200,000 miles on it. And there's a plastic valve cover, some plastic pipes. But for the most part, everything is either reinforced with metal or it's rubber, solid, good material rubber hoses, which are much better. All right, so for some context, that video is me working on my new car, and I know that's crazy, and I've made a video on me buying a new car. Am I a hypocrite? Love to hear you guys' feedback on that, opinions. Definitely make sure to check out that video if you haven't already. But I've made some comments as to why I really like this car. It's the 2025 Mazda CX-50 hybrid version, which uses Toyota's RAV4 hybrid powertrain. It's been literally copied and plopped into here like Frankenstein. And as you guys can see, there's not too many manufacturers now that are using metal oil pans in 2025 or recently. And I wanted to show you guys this because that is metal steel oil pan with a metal drain plug like it should be. And what I am trying to say here is there are very few manufacturers now, Toyota and Mazda being two of them, that still to this day aren't cutting as many corners as Most manufacturers are, like you'll see later on in today's episode. So if you look good and hard and you do your research, you can still find some car brands and car manufacturers that still care about you, that want to put out a product that is going to last a very long period of time. Now, before I show you the next couple of clips, I made a comment a couple of videos ago talking about, and in that video, how I got this car discounted, or I got it at a really good price negotiating. And I talk about the only way you should be buying new cars in that video. And I made a comment a few videos ago saying, oh, I figured out why I got this car discounted and the reason I got this car discounted. And I'm going to show you right here what that reason is. Are you seeing it? You know what that is, guys? Look at it. I'm going to give you guys a closer look. Maybe some of you guys might recognize what it is, but I'll explain what it is in a second. Any guesses on what that is? So I was doing a break-in oil change on my car right at around 500 miles, and I'm doing a sample test on that, why break-in oil changes are still important on new cars. Because crazy enough, the Mazda dealership told me that you don't need to do a break-in on this car, that there's new technology, and the next oil change on this car is going to be at 10,000 miles, and I thought that was insane. So I sent the sample off for testing that you guys saw. Turns out there is lots of metal floating around in the engine afterwards that the oil filter doesn't pick up. I'm going to make a video on that on my second channel, my car channel. Definitely make sure to give that a follow already. But when I was doing the oil change, I was sticking my hand up in there to reach the filter, and I noticed a spider run across, and I was like, what the heck was that? So I pulled my hand out because this is weird. I put my flashlight up in there and recorded a video like you saw. And the whole under tray was infested with brown widow spiders. Several spiders and an entire egg. A whole egg which holds about 50 to 70 brown widow spiders, which are highly poisonous as they are practically the sister spider to the black widow here in Florida, which is, it's not entirely common to run into them. They're kind of hiding out. They don't want to be disturbed. But if you look under benches and tables and places, they don't really get moved around too often. Like, I guess, the underside of my car, because for those that don't know, another reason I got this car discounted was because it sat in the lot for about 6 months. It had 10 miles on it when I bought it, and I was able to negotiate with them to get the price reduced because it was sitting on their lot, and it was old inventory, and they had just gotten a massive shipment of new cars. So ironically, I'm making a joke here that the reason it was discounted was because the whole underside was filled with brown widow spiders. And the reason they're there is because this car sat in a lot for several months, and it's the perfect home, dark, covered, and not really messed around with here. And it caused that massive nest. Freaked me out, highly poisonous, but I'm also glad I did a break-in oil change, because had I have waited, several months or to 5,000 or 10,000 miles like the dealership suggested, they would have had a rude awakening. That nest would have hatched, and there probably would have been 50 to 70 brown widow spiders infested the entire underside of that car. Insane. Ford 2.0 EcoBoom. I really enjoyed working on this engine. How about you? Oh, a wet belt. I didn't know we're using timing belts for the engine and then soaking them in oil. That's the new one. And all the teeth have shredded off in the engine. It needs a whole new top end. Wow, it overheated or warped. Oh, and new cam and cranks. So they definitely warped from the lack of oil pressure. That is unreal. A whole new top end block. And a new set of camshafts. Unbelievable. This is what I'm talking about. Like, it is planned obsolescence at its finest. Tell me why we went from timing belts that are dry, that last about 100,000 miles, and they're pretty solid. They're pretty easy to work on, to timing chains, which can last on Toyotas and stuff significantly longer, like the life of the engine, 200, 300,000 miles. Audis and stuff, maybe 100 to 150K. Those are covered in oil. As I get it, metal on metal contact, you want some lubrication there. But we're now going to use a timing belt that drives the oil pump as well, and then we're going to soak it in oil and drive it for 50 to 60,000 miles. And then when it fails and the teeth fall off because they're wet rubber, it's going to cause a lack of lubrication in the entire engine. And within a matter of 30 seconds to a minute, you're going to absolutely overheat and destroy the bearings and everything in the engine. Tell me what engineer thought that was a good idea. Because we all know, and I don't have that much experience, but I know enough, that that is stupid. Very stupid. Customer in 1989. Is it reliable? Those are questions he asked at the dealership. Customer in 2025. Is it going to make me look rich and cool? Yeah, that's pretty much how we buy cars nowadays. And that's what the manufacturers are making the cars for. The more gadgets and gizmos to distract you from what's under the hood is their goal. And I don't know if you guys have ever looked in the engines now, but they cover everything up with pretty panels so that you can't see it. They don't want you to work on it. They want the dealership to work on it. The dealers, the service tech, all that stuff. They just want you to be distracted by the pretty seats, the quilted seats, the red leather, the 25-inch touchscreen that doesn't belong in a car, the millions of sensors, the doodads, cooled seats, heated seats, massage seats, reclinable seats in the back, fully adaptive cruise control, self-drive. I mean, the list goes on and on and on of junk that is not needed in cars. And then it fails. It's basically meant to be disposable. And after a couple of years, 3, maybe 4 years, warranty ends, you go get a new one. And you're in this revolving cycle of a $700 to $900 car payment that is keeping you middle class or broke. It's crazy.
I literally have the worst luck with vehicles, and I'm trying so hard right now not to crash out. In case you didn't know, I had a Tahoe, and I loved her. She was beautiful. She was so fun to drive. Well, guess what? She left me on the side of the road. She almost killed my entire family.
Oh, that's serious.
So guess who had to have it towed to the dealership? Do you know how embarrassing? My neighbors probably thought the repo truck was in my front yard. Okay, they were having to skirt that thing up the tow truck. For the next 10 days, I was driving a Chevy Equinox. If I went over 45 miles an hour, it sounded like a souped up golf cart / lawnmower, like I was about to blow up that engine. I was blessed to drive that rental car for 10 days. Get my Tahoe back, okay? Guess what? Reduced engine power, drive with care. I'd love to drive with care, but it won't go. I can't drive it. Back to the dealership. So I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous. I'm not doing this. And so I traded it in. Okay? I told the dealership, it's a piece of crap. You're going to take it back. And they did. Then I got a Yukon. Okay? I love my Yukon. I call it my granny mobile.
So we went from a Chevy Tahoe to a GMC Yukon. Why aren't we learning here that General Motors is not a company you want to be messing around with?
Not as sporty as my Tahoe, but I love it. It's luxurious. Okay, well, guess what? Got an email yesterday that there's a recall. Loss of engine propulsion is the recall. It gets so much better. Just wait. No remedy available. I'm like, well, that's weird. What does that mean? So I Googled it.
Sorry, I have to pause. All right, I'll let her finish.
It basically says that GM doesn't have the parts nor the ability to fix the recall, whatever's wrong with it, or they just don't know how to fix it. Which means if this crap leaves me on the side of the road because of loss of engine propulsion, there's a good chance that GM is going to put me in another vehicle.
Yep.
That's not the point. Y'all make it right. Yeah, that's great. But I have a brand new vehicle. I am tired of brand new vehicles not being reliable. I want the look of a Tahoe, but the reliability of a Honda or Toyota. I need somebody to invent that vehicle.
They did. It's called Honda and Toyota, and you have to stick with them. I think the Highlanders and the 4Runners and the new Land Cruisers, they look phenomenal. They're pretty expensive, but they certainly look great. And I think the new Honda CR-Vs look, oh my gosh. And the HRVs too. The new ones, they look phenomenal. And it's okay. I mean, they all have their little sets of problems and issues here, but of all companies, I'd rather have Honda and Toyota because they're sorry and they make right and they fix it. Unlike these other companies here, it's like people don't learn. They keep buying the same junk cars and then wondering, why they keep getting shocked, why it keeps breaking down. Those are terrible cars. No offense. I have not heard that many good things about either of those cars that she mentioned here. Not to mention, that's how people pretty much shop for cars. Like she was just saying, she just shops based on look and doesn't care about reliability. That is second or third. So, this is, you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to make that choice. You're going to have to deal with the consequences. It's that simple. The girl buying a Ford Expedition is the exact reason why salesmen target women. This isn't me being an ass. This is me being real. I used to be a salesman, but I walked out and never came back one day because I was constantly in trouble for being too honest. I sold cars. In a total of 2 months, I sold 23 cars, used and new alike. But they weren't the vehicles I was supposed to sell. In other words, I was supposed to upsell the family of 6 who just wanted a used vehicle with low mileage and minimal amenities. My manager, instead of selling them the 2015 Traverse, which was $15K, wanted me to sell the brand new Tahoe for $80,000. And then I sold them the Traverse because I'm not scum. The customer doesn't want the Tahoe, so why would I convince them otherwise? Well, because it makes the dealership more money, and the kickback on the finance when they get the loan on $80K is a lot bigger than it is on $15K. So that's pretty much how it is. But this is how car salesmen and just dealerships work: is they prey on women. And I would honestly argue, and some of you guys were commenting it on my previous video when I bought a new car, that most new car purchases are pretty much women driven. And I'm just making an assumption. I may be wrong, but it's like either women are buying these cars and, they're not looking at the right stuff, some of them, or men are buying the cars for their wives and stuff like that. And then they're running into trouble again because they're buying cars based on the way they look, not on the way they function or on the previous history or the reliability of these said vehicles. And then you're screwed. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? And that's what I wanted to talk about as well, about what that woman said. She just bought a brand new car and then got a recall from the manufacturer saying, hey, I know you just spent, $95,000 on a GMC or a Chevy, whatever it was, Tahoe. And I know you're paying $1,200 a month for it with a 7% interest rate. But we just want to let you know, the engines are randomly stopping on people and causing crazy accidents. We don't really know what the problem is, and we haven't fixed it or come up with a solution, but we just want to make you aware of it. You still have to make your payments. We're not going to take it back from you or buy it back. But when we do figure out that problem, maybe in a year or two, maybe 2.5 years, then we'll fix the problem then. Or you can trade it in for a newer car today. Just want to let you guys know that. It's the same runaround nonsense. And some of you guys have been commenting on previous episodes that you'd rather get a brand new car and not worry about reliability ever than buying a used car because used cars have left you stranded on the side of the road. That's because you're buying used cars wrong. There are plenty of new cars, like that woman just said, that have terrible problems. You are the guinea pig, and even the dealership has no idea how to fix it. And you're the one who's left screwed. Not the dealership, not the manufacturer. They don't care. Kia technician here. Yes, your explanation of how dealerships treat warranty is absolutely 100% true. As technicians, I didn't know this. This is awesome to get inside information. If you guys have inside information, work at a dealership or are a mechanic, let me know these stories. These are juicy. As technicians, we are encouraged to not upsell warranty and find methods to void customers' warranty. I feel horrible for how our customers are treated. We had a sweet old lady that had catastrophic engine failure on her 2025 Kia Sportage, and she had her warranty voided by Kia. There's no way. For being 5 miles over on one of her oil changes. There is no way. I personally, and if Kia's engines are that sensitive to 5 miles over, what does this tell you? Not to mention, they probably have 10,000 mile oil service intervals, which is asking for engines to be blown. No offense, But this is insane. I personally reached out to her and told her I would cover the costs of her repairs and told her once the vehicle's fixed to sell that vehicle and go get an '06 Corolla or Highlander instead. She's much happier in the older Toyota. I recently upgraded her head unit to a Kenwood with CarPlay. She absolutely loved it. I'm her personal mechanic now. These big manufacturers need to stop preying on the customers and make quality products. And if there are warranties, they need to be honored. That is insane. And I'm actually shocked. Wow, he fixed the car. He bought her a new engine. That's crazy. And the fact that Kia avoided it, I know there's some laws. I've had engines blow on me in the past. It's not a fun experience. There's things called the Magnuson-Moss Act, which means the dealership has to prove why this engine blew. But I mean, they only need to do that in court, which is very expensive and time consuming. And they're going to drag it out for several years like they did to me. Not a fun thing to deal with. But this is the problem. Time and time again, do I hear people saying, oh, well, I got a warranty. Oh, well, new cars never fail. They're always brand new. They'll never break down on you. And it's like, how many stories do we have to put out that is not the case? Blown engine on Kia. Not surprised. Blown transmission on whatever Chevy Tahoe or random engine failure. No solution, but there is a recall. It's unreal. And then they'll find any reason to void that warranty. Skip an oil change, different tires. You blink wrong. Boom. They void the warranty and they'll fight you. And you then have to take time out of your day, take days off from work, hire a lawyer, and go through all these hoops for them to honor it, and it's going to cost you more money in the long run. And it's a game, and they know that.
Auto stop start is killing your engine. If you want to save this, your battery, you want to save this, your cam phaser, and if you want to save that starter underneath, let me show you a quick little tip. So most gas engine vehicles manufactured from around 2015 and newer probably have engine auto stop start, and the manufacturers do it to try to be compliant with fuel efficiency standards. Almost all cars out there that I know of that have that feature also have an off button. When your engine is auto stop starting, it's hard on the battery because instead of starting your vehicle one time for a drive, it may do it 15 times in a drive. So it's going to be harder on your battery. It's harder on the starter. And most important, your engine is going to lose oil pressure every time that engine shuts off. And what happens is when that engine shuts off, the cam phaser loses oil pressure and it needs oil pressure to work correctly. And so the lockout pin that's designed to lock out the cam phaser so that it doesn't move on engine startup gets damaged and you start getting a rattle sound. If you turn this feature off every time you drive, you're going to save the batteries, you're going to save the starter, and you're going to save those cam phasers. So you can simply press this button every time you start the vehicle. It's going to give you the off indicator. Unfortunately, it resets every time you cycle the key. But what this does, when you select that button, your engine will no longer start and stop at a stoplight or a stop sign or when you're at a stop with your foot on the brake.
That's interesting. And it's also been the downfall of modern vehicles today. Emissions. And I just recently heard news that something within the government, I'm talking about the past day or so, is getting rid of emission standards or really lowering the standard now. So now you can tune cars and all this auto stop start junk, which is what's destroying engines. We should be okay now. A lot of big problems with new cars nowadays is carbon buildup if you have a direct injection engine, which is better for power. But you get this carbon buildup and it's legit caused by recirculating exhaust fumes back into your intake, and it just chunks up carbon all over your valves and leads to, worse fuel economy and worse engine performance. So it's it's a double standard and it just breaks down, but they don't care. Imagine being young and thinking all this is all normal. Your kids are cooked. It's very, very, very true. I mean, when kids nowadays being born to seeing all these new cars and how they function, they're not going to know any better, but they're also not going to miss what they never had. So you can't miss what you never had, you never knew about. But, oh boy, the next generation is so cooked.
I wonder who was the first person to be like, you know what? I got an idea where we could save a bunch of money and keep people coming back for more bullshit repairs.
Yep.
Let's put a plastic oil pan and a plastic drain plug.
This has got to be either Nissan or Volkswagen or Audi. One of those.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for the oil to leak out of this and have the customer come back so we could charge them more money.
Yep.
Oh, plastic, you saved the day. Saving the car industry one more plastic bullshit at a time.
Oh,
the plastic. Oh, it's the bullshit.
Did you see a shirt? It said Audi. How did I know? It's so obvious. I mean, it's hysterical. And if you think about it, I mean, it keeps them in business. It keeps them in business, and it makes them a heck of a lot of money. On the new, what is it, B58s and what is it, the newer M3s and M4s using the S58 engines, there was a big issue that a lot of people were running into where they replaced a lot of the metal components in the oil pump with plastic, and it would fail, after like 70 or 80,000 miles, and you'd be out of warranty, and it would cost you getting the work done at a dealer or even, third party, like $5,000 to $8,000, which is more incentive to not pay to get it fixed and get you into another new car. There's no reason to make that out of plastic. It is just stupid. And now, of course, they make the part out of metal to supersede it and replace it, but it is just a bunch of ridiculous baloney. And I promise you, these engineers know it's going to break and do it anyway because it lines their pockets. The more stuff they can replace with plastic, they know it has, a length of time that it's going to last. And when it does decide to break, you're going to go back. You're going to either spend thousands of dollars for work at the dealer, or they're going to swap you and get you, which I'm sure the overwhelming majority of people do. They're going to swap you or roll you into a new car, and the cycle just keeps repeating. My mom had a 1983 Mitsubishi Tredia that she bought used and put it up to 130,000 miles. One day she asked me to take a look at the car because it was running a little rough. I started with just checking the oil. The dipstick was bone dry. I opened up the valve cover cap, the oil cap, and there was nothing but oily Long Island sand in there. Oh, I asked her when she last checked the oil, and she replied, "What do you mean check the oil? 130,000 miles, 1983 Mitsubishi Tredia, no oil, running a little rough. Boy, I miss those days." Yeah, that's Japanese cars for you. They made these cars back in the day to, take a little bit of maintenance abuse. Even Toyotas back in the day. Now, I'm not so sure. We're using 0W16 oil for fuel efficiency and stuff. It's like thinner than maple syrup. It's like near water. That is the craziest thing to me, that we're running tolerances so thin now. That's a little sketch. How thin are we going to go with this oil, guys? But anywho, back in the day, like old 1990 Toyotas, dude, I have heard so many stories of people doing like 25,000 miles on oil, and not changing the oil, do a new oil change, and they'll get another 200,000 miles out of it. The neglect you could do on old Toyotas and I guess Mitsubishis is insane. That looks like a brand new Escalade.
Okay.
The drive shaft blew off the transmission? Salesmen are shocked when you ask to look at the engine. That's a funny story. I went to buy the new 2025 Mazda CX-50 hybrid. It's a hybrid, so there's no accessory belts, there's no stretch belts, there's no serpentine belts. It is all driven by, a battery, by electric, which is very cool. There's no alternator. It's an electric water pump. The AC is electric driven. So there's no need for that stuff, which is super cool. Less maintenance and stuff. But I was poking around the engine, and the salesperson was like shocked that I wanted to pop the hood. So confused. I asked him, I said, "Does this not have a belt?" And he goes, "No, of course it has a belt. It's a car. Of course it has a belt. Let me go ask the maintenance in the back." He asks them, he comes back, he goes, "Yeah, this car has a belt. All cars have a belt." I'm like, no, it doesn't. I was just messing with them. But again, they don't want you looking around engines. They don't know anything about the engines. It's all about the interior stuff. Husband's 2024 Silverado transmission gone at 13,000 miles. Nice. Wife's 2025 Tahoe ECM went out at 200 miles. Nice. This is beautiful. I wanted to read a couple of the comments that people left on that TikTok because I thought it was hysterical. And now, keep in mind, we had just recently seen other videos in today's episode of Chevys and GMC's shit in the bed. Test drove a 2025 Chevy Tahoe last week. Transmission went out on the test drive. I'll stick to my Toyotas. Same here. I'm a little hybrid right now. We got a little mix of Mazda's interior and luxury with Toyota's reliability. I'm set. I'm golden.
Viral video going around showing that a 2025 Ram 1500 uses plastic control arms.
New Dodge Ram upper control arm. Shameful. Plastic. Plastic. I mean, it's plastic. Made their crumple zone the control arms. Recycled Saturn body panels. Yeah.
Quite literally look like they were made out of recycled milk crates. So yes, it is plastic on the outside, but it is actually steel on the inside.
Hold on, he said steel on the inside. Let's go back a couple of seconds and take another peek at that, because where would you fit steel? Yeah, okay, here we are, paused on it. Where in that could you possibly put steel anything? Is it sideways? Is it horizontal? Is it vertical? What do we have? The thinnest sheet of steel going through that? 99% of it is plastic. That's cutting corners in my book.
Plastic. Made their crumple zone the control arms. Recycled Saturn body
where are we putting steel in?
Quite literally look like they were made out of recycled milk crates. So yes, it is plastic on the outside, but it is actually steel on the inside. The crazy part is the plastic and steel control arms are not cheaper than making out of strictly steel or strictly aluminum.
Okay.
The design of the plastic and metal control arm is a strategy for Ram to cut back on the weight of the vehicle. They claim that it offers high tensile strength at a very low weight. Ram says not only is the plastic and metal control arm lighter, but it improves the ride quality and handling. They also say it is good for fuel economy because it makes the truck lighter. It seems as if every single year the price of these trucks keeps going up and up and up, and our quality just keeps going down and down and down. Between the cheap parts all around on the vehicle, the cheap interiors, all the warranty and recall claims, I don't see the value in an $80,000 truck anymore. I highly doubt in the pre-emission diesel days there was this many issues with quality control and recalls and warranty claims. Those vehicles were not over-engineered. Anyone could work on them in their driveway, and you didn't have to take it to a dealer for literally every little thing.
I mean, I can't imagine my freaking control arms cracking because they're made out of plastic. And let's cut to the chase right now. We're spending $85,000 on a truck that gets 8 miles a gallon. Why are we pinching pennies here when it comes to vital engine components or vital like car components like control arms? How realistically, how much weight reduction are we talking with 4 upper control arms that are plastic compared to the aluminum, which is a lightweight metal to begin with, that we were replacing it with? It's still there. We didn't get rid of control arms. So we're talking about what, 5 pounds? 10 pounds of savings on a truck that's getting 8 miles a gallon to begin with. I'm not worried about the weight of my vehicle. I don't think anyone cares about that. We know what you're doing, guys. We're not stupid, but they clearly think we are. This is not weight reduction or weight savings. Don't take away vital components. Maybe they do hold up in the same strength category, but they're sure as heck not going to last as long. That's the thing. They're going to fail after 8 years or 7 years from cracking, because it's plastic, just to save some weight and then add it back with some stupid, massaging seats. I can't stand the corners being cut. It's obviously for money reasons. Plastic valve covers, plastic intakes, plastic oil pans, plastic radiator tanks, plastic coolant pipes. They're all going to fail, and that is planned. That is true. Then again, plastic valve covers, they've been doing that for well over a decade now, over 2 decades. My 2010, it's 15 years now, has a plastic valve cover. I mean, it's been 15 years, no issues there. I mean, if you're using high quality plastic, the valve cover has been proven to be okay. But, when we're talking about bends or T-pipes or what is it, whatever those bends are in coolant, that is just straight plastic, or you make some of these, coolant reservoirs out of plastic and you don't reinforce it on the joints, you're just asking for them to fail.
This is the all-new generation of the Mazda CX-5. You can see here a stronger front.
Not bad.
That's all the wheelbase. More trunk.
Okay.
More space, even more space than the
Not
CX-60.
bad.
Biggest change on the interior is this huge screen, but only in the highest trim. Otherwise, it's a little bit smaller. That's also fine then. However, now, climate unit in the screen here. So no physical dials, and even on the steering wheel, capacitive buttons, and overall less things to touch and press, but more things in the screens and everything. And that's something that Mazda customers, they so far appreciated, that you have real buttons and real knobs.
I guess 2025 is going to be the last year that I ever buy a car from Mazda. That's another one lost. It's a dang shame. I hate the way Toyota and Mazda are doing it. They're copying Mercedes, BMW, and Audi, who have, integrated the capacitive touch bullshit buttons on the steering wheels and the doors, and integrating the climate control and the volume into the freaking massive 25-inch touchscreen, which is a massive distraction. That is horrible technology. I can't stand it. I like Mercedes and Audi and all those companies, but when they integrated this junk and I've used it firsthand, it's terrible. It's cheap. It just feels janky, and it is not reactive as fast. I know Tesla does it pretty good, but these other car manufacturers, it's terrible. And the fact that Mazda, I like my real knobs. They work. They're actually good. The amount of screens that are going to fail or not respond or react correctly, it's just asking for problems. POV just spent 400 grand on a Lamborghini. The irony is I do freelance stuff, and I used to work at an exotic car rental company. And a lot of the times, I've been in many, many, many Lamborghinis. And the older 2017, 2018 Huracans were amazing. The new one, the Evos, with that screen, it's horrible. To find climate control, you need to click 9 buttons. It takes an hour to load after you click the button. Then you have to scroll it. I mean, we're talking 19 steps to lower the heat or whatever. Same thing with the volume. You got to click 9 buttons, you slide it, and then, you move your finger, and then it moves. It is so delayed. They cut so many corners and put zero effort into that, and you can tell. It's freaking terrible. I can't stand the way new cars are going. And it's all going to break. Somewhere along the line, buyers forgot that the primary purpose of a car is to get you from A to B. It's not an extension of your living room. Seriously, leave the 30-inch touchscreen at home on your TV. Don't put it in the car. You don't need massage seats. You don't need all this ambient lighting. It's not a movie theater. It's to get you to your job and back.
Why is it that every year, every new car model that comes out for every car, it's like girlier and girlier?
Because that's who buys cars.
Why are they doing that? There is not a single new car out there that I'm like,
it's either a woman is buying it, or the husband is buying it for his wife. That's what I am slowly starting to realize.
That looks really good. And maybe it's a me problem. Like, I want a car that looks aggressive. Like, I want a car like I'm gonna run you the fuck over. Like, that's the type of car I want. Mind you, I'm talking about cars like SUVs with a third row. Like right now we have an Escalade, and I like the way it looks on the outside. Like, I like it, but we were toying with the idea of getting a new car, and we went to look at the new
She just had a new car and now 3 years later she's getting another one.
Navigator, and we test drove it, and I'm sorry, but I just kept looking over at my husband thinking like you look girly driving this. You look girly driving this car right now. This is a girl car. This is not a man car.
What is the best new car to buy in 2025?
Best new car? Dude, anything Toyota.
Yep.
Like, literally anything Toyota.
Pretty much.
The Tacomas are good. The Highlanders are good. I mean, dude, anything. If it has a Toyota logo or a Lexus logo on it, it's good. Trust.
What is the best new car to buy in 2025?
Toyota. It's going to be Toyota.
Yeah.
It's pretty much always going to be Toyota. Honda's not a far second, but
Yeah, I agree.
in terms of overall reliability and durability, you can't beat Toyota.
What is the best new car to buy in 2025?
Toyota Camry.
What is the best new car to buy in 2025?
The Camry or a Honda Civic, Honda Accord.
I agree.
Alrighty, what is the best new car to buy in 2025?
The best new car? Dodge pickup trucks.
What is the best new car to buy in 2025?
Nothing.
Or that. That's a good
so
answer.
serious, nothing new.
Yeah, he's got a valid point. Honestly, majority of Toyotas are good. They're having some trouble with their new V8s, as Toyota always has, because they're not big into making big, powerful, towing vehicles. That was never Toyota's goal. They're just doing that for the U.S. market. But the other issue they're running into, Toyota and Lexus, is new turbos. Everybody is trying to go for fuel efficiency now. That's the new wave, EPA, emissions, blah, 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 blah. So they're putting turbos in because you can get the same power than a big gas guzzler V8 or V6. Problem is, turbos get hotter, oil gets hotter, things break more, and that's the new issue that they're running into. They're not as reliable with turbos as we have with some naturally aspirated cars that we have seen, but we'll see how they last. We don't know yet. It's too early to tell. But otherwise, Toyota, Mazda, Honda, they're a safe bet for those that want new cars. Toyota often gets bashed for being old school and behind the times by not embracing EVs, which... No EVs and reusing old tech. But to me, that is the most appealing about them. And I agree because they use what works. They don't, stop when it breaks. They fix and, revise and make better their previous problems instead of abandoning it and starting something new like Ford, GMC, Chevy. They will make something brand new. It'll have a bunch of problems. They'll scratch it and then start a new thing instead of fixing the old stuff. It's terrible. It really is terrible. Anywho, guys, that is going to be it for today's episode. Hopefully you liked today's video. Let me know down in the comments below if you've purchased a new car or have a new to you used car, whatever it is. Let me know your car stories down in the comment section below so you can get featured in the next episode. If you haven't subscribed already, definitely make sure to do so. Turn on post notifications, smash the like button. We're getting so close to 100K subscribers that we can do another giveaway. And if you haven't seen my New Cars Are Horrible episode, the previous one, definitely make sure to check it out right after this. Peace.